My name is Stefano Valentini, and art is in the eye of the beholder.
Today we're going to be going over a theory on the Evil Within 2. The Deadly Photographer is an interesting character. The first information we got about him was in a recent trailer released by the developers. Now, I've been holding off on making the Evil Within 2 content as I didn't really feel like there was enough information. I didn't feel there was enough interviews, trailers, gameplay, or anything else. But with all the recent information coming to light, as well as the leak that came out, I definitely think there's enough information for me to start making videos on it. And if you are looking forward to the Evil Within 2, I'll be creating a lot of videos covering the game. So let's get right into it as always. At the start of the video, I had a little intro piece which gives us our first glimpse into the character of the Deadly Photographer. His name is Stefano Valentini.
My name is Stefano Valentini.
The trailer comes off as very cryptic. I'm sure many people will agree with that, but there is a high level of information that we can assess and come to a great detail of history about the character. So in this video, we'll be delving into all of this.
This is the photo that took one of my eyes, but gifted me with vision. The moment of death, captured like a fly in amber. A life ends, and a flower of flesh and blood is born.
The first real piece of dialogue coming from Stefani implies that taking this photograph lost him his eye. If you notice in the image, it looks like a soldier taking an explosion. I'm assuming this is actually from Stefani's memory, and this is his memory being placed in Union itself. Based on the language and the technology, which I'll get further into in this video, it definitely seems like Stefani's history comes from having to photograph war equipment or just a war itself. I'm assuming this is the origin of the character, and there's more information later to really back this up, so let's continue.
I realized the beauty in destruction. I was eager to share my new work with the world. Neophytes, Philistines, fools.
I think the beginning of this scene seems to imply that Stefani is descending into madness after the original accident occurred in which he lost his eye. He took things into his own hands, started killing people, and tried to show that to the masses. Something I want to talk about though, and this is really established in the next scene, is if you notice the camera which I've shown in the background here, it doesn't look too modern, but it doesn't look too old, and this gives us some insight into the character's time period, which is further cemented and established in the next scene.
They feared what they could not comprehend, were determined to stop me.
There are many details established in this scene, so I want to take particular care and time to dissect it. First off, I just want to apologize if anything on the video isn't readable. The original video's quality is 1080p and I could read all of this perfectly. However, when I download the video and re-render it, some quality loss is going to occur. If you want to go check out the original video, I'll leave a link in the description, and you can go check out the authenticity of everything in here. First off, it looks like our serial killer Stefani is hailing from the city that Sebastian works in, Crimson City, so this is very important, and it also makes sense why he's relevant to the plot. This is where he was picked up by Mobius, and he would have been placed into the STEM project. We also get a date finally for this character. Now, I don't know if this is very readable on the screen, but it is very readable on the original 1080p trailer, and it's in the year of 1986. To further cement this fact, we have an ongoing investigation being deployed by the KCPD, which is the Crimson City Police Department. This would give us a definite birth date of around 1950 or 1960 for this particular character. Notice how Stefani's most peculiar behavior seems to be decapitating the heads of his victims. In the photos earlier, as well as other parts of the trailer, we start to see lots of imagery of eyes as well. I feel like this is the ultimate piece of proof that he descended into madness after the war accident occurred in which he lost his eye. It drove him so insane that he started murdering victims, taking a photo of their final moments, decapitating their heads, and then removing their eyes. It's almost as if he's expressing and projecting all of the emotions he feels from the PTSD and trauma that was incurred.
Some consider this new world horrific. For me, it is a world of beauty, full of pure creation.
There's something really big to talk about in this scene particularly. It seems like what we're looking at here is obviously STEM. We've got some nicely lit environment and we've got some dead troops with gas masks outside. Now my interpretation of this situation is that these are Mobius troopers. It seems like there's a lot of survivors in here, as he said the lines of "some consider this new world horrific," and so it definitely seems like Mobius and Stefani are at odds. So this begs the question of who exactly put him into the simulation, and exactly what was the intention and why did everything go wrong. We'll get more into this later, but I further want to just carry on watching the video. Now one thing I'd also like to note is that if you look in the background, there is a silhouette of one of Stefani's camera creatures, and so that seems to be the mysterious creature that has killed all of these Mobius troops, probably taking a photograph of their final moments for Stefani's wall.
A world whose very fabric I can shape. But where can I go from here? She is the key. The path to ultimate power. She is the brush. Blood is my paint. And this world is the canvas.
Now this is where things start to get really interesting. Based on the commentary by Stefani, it would seem like the girl in the picture is the core of the new world. She's the one hosting all of the survivors, and this is actually, of course, for people who know, Sebastian's daughter. So it seems like Sebastian's daughter is the new core for the STEM project. Stefani seems to have a high level of manipulation over it, as shown at the start of the scene.
A world whose very fabric I can shape.
Why exactly Stefani has a high level of manipulation over it is unknown, but this is probably why he was introduced into the system, and I believe at the start of this, based on his wording, that Lily was introduced as a core to create a stable background environment that wasn't reminiscent of the first Evil Within, but looked more like a peaceful neighborhood in which people could move around and live. Many survivors were introduced into this, and then Stefani started to destroy things. This ties in with what I said earlier, but the biggest question here is who exactly did that and for what reasons. I'm not sure exactly, although I do possibly have some hints, but I've got nothing to really solidify them. I would like to explore the possible scenarios I have in my head and then discuss the theory in the comments below with you guys. Situation 1 is somebody in Mobius is instituting a civil war. Now if you look at it, it seems like Stefani would have required somebody from Mobius to get in touch with him. They took his brain and they implemented it into the STEM project. Now there's a few ways around this. If it is somebody who was originally for the STEM project and wants a unified civilization, exactly why would they be introducing serial killers into the small-time simulation they currently have? It also really wouldn't make sense considering in the Evil Within 1, Mobius went to extended efforts to get Sebastian among other individuals to try and get rid of Ruvik so they could get more control over the original system. This is why I go with the idea that it's a civil war. However, it could also be somebody exterior who also knows about the STEM project itself. It's also possible that Sebastian's wife is working with Mobius to recover her own daughter and basically working as a double agent overall. The likelihood of this outcome is very low, but I'd like to hear if you guys are entertained by the idea at all, or if you think it has any validity. Considering the dead Mobius troops, which pretty much confirms the idea that Mobius and Stefani are antagonistic to each other, I think it's also possible that Mobius needed the memories of Stefani and something went wrong, and thus they couldn't access them within Mobius, and he actually had more creative power than they originally ever imagined. Removing him from the system outright may have proven catastrophic, and this would be a good plot device as to why Sebastian had to be reintroduced. Anyway guys, this is all the evidence I have regarding Stefani Valentino, the deadly photographer. I do hope you've enjoyed this video and it's led you to some more insight and information about the evil within, and maybe even possibly got you a little bit more excited for the game. Just to recap on the points, Stefano was originally some kind of war or military photographer. In some kind of accident or military conflict in which an explosion occurred, he lost his eye, and after this his descent into madness caused him to become a serial killer in which he abducted women, removed their heads, and possibly gouged out their eyes. At some point between this, he was introduced into the STEM project and became very much fixated with Lily, Sebastian's daughter. He's using Mobius as a way to express and project his trauma over the initial incident that caused him to lose his eye, and in this we will figure out exactly why he was introduced into STEM and by whom it was. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and a subscribe. It would mean a hell of a lot to me, and if we can reach even just 200 to 300 likes, it would really make my day. You can follow my Twitter if you do want to follow that. I'm going to be hosting a lot of polls, and in those polls I'll be asking questions such as what you want the future videos to be, and this will help shape the creations that actually come out. So if you want to follow my Twitter and actually be immersed in the creation of this channel and the content that it produces, you can find the link for that in the description. Anyway guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day. As always, take it easy and peace.